Hello everyone, it's Karen and welcome to another video on the channel. And today we're going to be doing an album review. Now I've never really reviewed an album by this band, but given that they have a new album out, I thought it would make sense to go and review it on the channel. And given that it's been out in the last month, I wanted to give my take on the album. And that is of course going to be the Rolling Stones' new album, Hackney Diamonds. So this video I'm going to go over a bit of information about the album, show you my copies of the album, go over each track individually, and give the album as a whole a marking out of 10. So, the Rolling Stones' Hackney Diamonds is their 24th British studio album, their 26th American album, released on the 20th of October 2023. Now, prior to making this album, the Rolling Stones' last album of new material had been 2005's album A Bigger Bang, and that was a pretty good album, actually, a really good album, I would say, from later Stones albums. They had done some tracks in between, like they recorded a couple of tracks for a Greatest Hits album in 2012. And then in 2016, they did an album of blues covers called Blue and Lonesome that featured Don Was producing. But that album had started with new material, but then it quickly stalled. There was like problems, like Mick Jagger, for instance, was kind of not really enthusiastic about making new music. And Keith Richards had to adapt his style of playing because of arthritis. So they then began to work, but in between this period of 2005 and Blue and Lonesome and Bigger Bang, they were still touring. They still did quite a bit of touring and whatnot. And in February of 2019, they went into the studio to record. To start making this album, and they worked on it in 2019 and then toured during this period, and then in 2020 they were continuing work on it, but then the album was interrupted because of the COVID-19 pandemic, so that kind of delayed things. And then in 2021 they recorded some material in the studio, but then lost his momentum and focus in the studio. Mick got kind of frustrated with the slow process of the recording and suggested to Keith that after they'd finished their upcoming tour in August of 2022, they would choose to release the album in February of 2023. And during this period in 2021, there was the death of course, of their longtime drummer Charlie Watts, who'd been with the band since 1963. And so that kind of was the kind of impetus for them to become more serious for finishing the record. After they completed their 60 tour in August of 2022, the band went back into the studio and continued recording throughout December of 2022. And they had guest appearances from Paul McCartney and Elton John, and even Bill Wyman as well appeared as well. And they recorded at the Electric Lady Studios in New York and the Henson Recording Studios, and they also continued recording at the Hit Factory in New York and Metropolis Studios in London and Sanctuary in Nassau in the Bahamas. They continued recording throughout the end of 2022, in winter of 2022, and then recording was finally concluded in the January of 2023. The album was then released in the October of 2023, on the 20th of October. It reached number 1 in the UK and number 3 on the US Billboard Albums chart, and the US Top Rock Albums at number 2. The album received great reviews and got a lot of promotion and a lot of hype because this was, as it says, the Stones' first album of new original material since 2005. So I'm going to show you my copies here. I'm going to show you my CD of it first. This is the CD. I pre-ordered this when I heard the first song from the album, so this is the sticker down there. They produced, one track was produced with Don Was, but they worked with a guy called Andrew Watt on this album, so and they do a good job of it. There's the disc. Just plain on the inside there, but just thought I'd show it anyway. It comes with a nice book with some nice cool artwork. The thing about the book is it would be nice if there's some pictures of the Stones recording the album. You just get the lyrics in here, but it would have been nice to see the Stones record a picture of the Stones recording the album. I know there's a digipack version with that, but I just got this one. But hey, what can you do? But it says who plays what and who does what in the tracks. So yeah, it's good to see that though, and where it's recording and whatnot, and all the engineers and everything. Okay, now I'm going to show you my vinyl copy. This is a recent purchase, and this will be shown in my next vinyl update, but I thought I'd show it here anyway. Here it is, the vinyl version that I was able to get. And this is the Indie Store exclusive Diamond Clear Heavyweight Vinyl. which I'll show you. There's the gatefold. I really like the Rolling Stones' name in kind of diamonds. And there's the sleeve, same information, doesn't have the lyrics this time. In a plain black polyline inner sleeve, which is nice. And it's on clear vinyl, which is really cool, really nice. I was able to find this in my local record shop, which is really cool. So yeah, my opinion of this album is a really, really great album. Definitely a really great album. It's kind of like interesting. This year's been kind of interesting because we've had the Beatles track now and then, and the Rolling Stones bring a new album, and it does make some people think, how far have we gone back in time? It kind of feels like the 60s again, in a sense. Right, so now we're going to go over all of the album's tracks. So the first track up is Angry. Now this was the first song to be announced from the album. It's a great rocky song. I really like it. I really like the beat and I really like the guitar in it. It's a really, really great song. When I first heard it, I thought this is a really, really great kind of hard rock song, and it is in a sense. And yeah, I really, really like the song Angry. Great rocker from the Stones. Then we have, this one, the album features Steve Jordan playing the drums in place of Charlie Watts, but Charlie Watts does feature on a couple of tracks, which we'll touch upon later on. Yeah, great, great song. Really, really great. Then we have Get Close. Now, Get Close is one of the tracks to feature Elton John playing the piano, and this is a really good rocky song as well. Quite like the vocals, mixed vocal, and the kind of the vocals, backing vocals as well is great as well. Yeah, really great one. Get Close. Then we have Depending on You. This is a really nice kind of soft song with the Mick's vocals are really nice in it, and you get a string orchestra on it as well, which is really great, and a really nice kind of soft song, really nice song for the album. Kind of ballad type song, really nice song, Depending on You. Probably one of my favourites from the album. And then we get Bite My Head Off. This is a really great head-banging kind of rock type song, and this one features Paul McCartney on the bass, and it's a really great sort of hard rock kind of song, even though I think it does feature a bit of a swear word in it. Yeah, it does feature a couple of swear words in it, but nonetheless a great rocker. Mick's vocal performance is great. It almost makes you feel like it kind of takes you back in a sense to some of the later Stones stuff with the kind of hard rock vibe, because the Stones kind of started off as a kind of blues band, but it still had a bit of a rocky vibe in it, and this kind of reminds me of kind of the Rolling Stones' sort of rock side in the sort of 70s and into the 80s a bit, and even some of their later stuff as well. So yeah, really great one. Bite My Head Off, another favourite. Whole Wide World. Whole Wide World's a really, really great one. I really like the kind of vocals, lyrics are really good, really good song here. Whole Wide World. Yeah, really, really great one. Probably one of my favourites from the album as well. I've got loads of favourites from this album. Dreamy Skies. Now, Dreamy Skies is a good song. I like it, but it's not one that I don't really know all that well. It's a nice song, good song, but one I kind of need to listen to again. I need to give this album another listen. And kind of have a fresher view on this track, but I think it's a good song, Dreamy Skies. Then we have Mess It Up. Now this is one of the two tracks that features Charlie Watts on the drums, and good song, I like it, really good song. One that, again, I don't know too well, and I kind of need to get a fresher mind on the song, but still a good song, I think. Live by the Sword. Now this one features Elton John on piano, and it's the second one to feature Elton John. Charlie Watts on drums again, and Bill Wyman on the bass. So this kind of, in a sense, feels like a Rolling Stones like revisit track from like it's kind of like revisiting the 70s and the 80s because of Ronnie Wood playing on, and Ronnie Wood's been with them since 1976 for Black and Blue. And so this kind of feels like the Stones in the 70s and 80s again, because they've got Bill Wyman playing the bass and Charlie Watts playing the drums. And this, I think, was one of the last things they did with Charlie Watts before his passing. So really good to see that. And we have Elton John on piano again as well, like I say. Yeah, a really, really great, really good song here, Live by the Sword. And it's good to have like all Stones back again in some aspect or another. Driving Me Too Hard. Again, one that I don't know too well, so it's one that I kind of need to listen to again, but I think it's a good song. It's a good song, but again, I think I just need to give it another listen. But yeah, good song, good song. Then we have Tell Me Straight. Now, Tell Me Straight does not feature Mick Jagger on the lead vocals, but features Keith Richards, and it's a good song. Keith Richards does a good job with the vocals on it, and really good song. Features does it feature? Doesn't really feature much, but it's a really good song. I like it. Really like the guitar and the kind of Keith's vocals on it, and like the music to it. So yeah, a good song. A really, really great song. Then we have Sweet Sounds of Heaven. This was the second song that they announced from the album, and this features Lady Gaga. And this is a really great one. Now, I'm personally not a huge fan of Lady Gaga. I quite like some of her songs, but not really. I'm not really a huge, what you would call a fan. But I think she sings this song really well. I think she does really, really great vocal performance with this song, as does Mick. And their two voices sort of blended very well together. And this one even features Stevie Wonder near the end on the piano and the Rhodes and the kind of keyboards near the end, and Stevie Wonder does a really good job of it. I'd say, yeah, really, really good song, Sweet Sounds of Heaven, and yeah, I'd say a really good one. Great duet between collaboration with the Stones and Lady Gaga. And the last track is Rolling Stone Blues. Now this is a cover of a Muddy Waters song. And this was where the Rolling Stones got their name, was with this song. Because I think when they were trying to book a gig, they were trying to book a gig somewhere, and they were trying to book a club in London, and I think they phoned up Brian Jones, I think it was. They phoned Brian Jones, and Brian Jones was speaking to the club, and the club's like, what's the band's name? And Brian said, and looked at one of the Muddy Waters records he had, and they said, we're called the Rolling Stones. So that was where the kind of Rolling Stones got their name, was that song. So it's kind of good that Mick's going back, that the band are going back and recording this song for like their album, and to celebrate kind of 60 years of the band, because this is 60 years since they released their first single. But anyway, I like the harmonica. It's just Mick the guitar and the harmonica. It's a kind of a bluesy style song. It kind of makes you think of the Stones in the 1960s, because they kind of started off as a bit of blues, like Little Red Rooster, which was one of their early singles of the 60s, is kind of a bluesy kind of song. So yeah, it's a good one to close the album with, and so this is a really great album, I'd say. So that's my opinion on my review of the Rolling Stones' Hackney Diamonds. Give it a review a 10 out of 10. A great album. Probably one of my favourite Stones albums. I haven't heard that many Stones albums. I definitely need to give the Stones a kind of another listen now, which I probably will do now with this album. I've played it 2 times now. It's a really great album, and it's one that I've kind of wanted to review, but now I've got around to doing it. And yeah, really great album, and it's really always great to see the Stones kind of make another album again. It's been a while since they've made one, but I'm hoping that we get another one from them. I hope it's not too long before we kind of make another one, because the Stones are now, I think Mick is in his 80s now, and Keith is not far from it, pushing 80, Keith is. But you know, I'm always hoping we're going to get another album from the Stones, and if they do, I'll definitely get it, and I'll definitely review it. But yeah, as I say, Hackney Diamonds is a great album, and probably my favourite of 2023. There hasn't been much new music out in this year, apart from the Killers releasing a couple of new songs. Well, released a new song this year, and Bruce Springsteen released a song for a film. But it hasn't really been that much. So this is kind of a great, and we had the Beatles' new track as well. So yeah, this is a really, really great album. For me, and probably my favourite of 2023. It's the only one I've bought from 2023. I'll say that. But really like this album. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you like the album as well. And I'll see you again for the next video. And also coming up on the channel, I will be doing a 60th anniversary review of the Beatles' second album, With the Beatles. Since we did Please Please Me this year, we're going to go and do With the Beatles sometime in the next week. So keep a lookout for that one, because we're definitely going to be doing, because I'm definitely going to be doing that one very, very soon. And so I'll see you guys for the next video. Till then, bye just now.